Greetings guys, Jason Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. Today we're talking about mid-irons, short irons and long irons. The differences in ball position, differences in setup between them all, and how ball position changes, flight, etc. and how you should use it for all these different golf clubs. Now, I've got my 9, my 7 and my 5. The reason I've got my 5 is that's my longest iron before I go into hybrids. I don't have a 4 or a 3, and I'll get into the reasons why when we get to the 5. So let's go do the 9 iron first. Now, 9 iron first. I've got, on the floor here, you see I've got a couple of sticks, alignment sticks, and I've got 3 tees on the deck. Now, the 3 tees are there to showcase where my ball position goes when it comes to the different irons. Now, for 9 pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge, I will use the back blue tee position, and then it will change as I go through. So we'll go through that as we go along to the mid and the long irons. But so for this one, what I'd normally do would be to have my left foot. I've got a stick down the side here. My left foot goes about an inch or so away from that stick, and then effectively I just hit a normal shot, but from the back blue position, which is normal. Fraction low on the face, classic thing that I normally do when it comes to a 9 iron. Didn't get all the dots on that one. But we got our attack angle, 7 degrees down. Now, we are going 25 yards in the air, 45 degrees descent angle, even with a slightly low strike on the face. It just means I haven't got to worry about control with a 9 iron, with a pitching wedge, with a gap wedge. Why? Because it's got plenty of loft. This 9 iron's got 42 degrees, I think it is, loft on it. So your 9 iron might have slightly less, but again, all golf clubs are made differently. But I haven't got to worry about control. I've got enough loft, I've got enough spin, it's near 7,600 spin. It's got plenty of spin, it's got plenty of descent angle, it's got plenty of control. Now, I can change that should I wish by moving ball position, and even with a 9 iron, the maximum I would normally go would be to the middle tee. Now, the middle tee is where I actually put my standard 7 iron, or mid iron. We'll go to that in a sec. But we'll hit another shot. But from here, I've moved the ball a little bit further towards me in the middle of the mat, so quad will get all the dot data. I was just on the edge of the window. Last shot. So again, no different. I've got the cane down the left-hand side of me. That shows where my foot is, about an inch or so away from that. That doesn't change whatsoever. And I'll just now hit another 9 iron, but from the middle position. Slightly poor strike Healy, that sounded, or felt, but within reason, got away with it. Slightly low, slightly heel, but obviously with a forged iron you feel every single bit of it. There you go. 10 mil low, 8 mil heel, but attack angle is now 5 degrees, so slightly less than the normal amount when I move position back to my normal for a short iron. But that's now gone 31 yards in the air and 49 degrees descent angle. So we're talking about moving ball position, it changes loft, it changes attack angle, because obviously the more down you hit something, the less loft you deliver, and the more up you hit something, the more loft you deliver. Now obviously we don't want to hit up with an iron, but you kind of get the picture for illustration purposes only. So I can change flight. And within reason, distance doesn't change. Now, again, I can push it lower if I want to, I can move it back, but generally speaking, unless I'm trying to get under something, and when you're talking that's a bit more of a specialist recovery shot, it's not something that I would really use for short irons. Right, let's go to the mid irons and show the differences when you go from, say, a 6, 7 and 8 over the short irons. Okay, so back now with the middle iron. I've got a 7 iron in my hand here of 34 degrees. Now your irons will be different lofted. Everyone's got different lofted. There's no such thing as like for like irons. Well, I suppose within certain categories, yes. But don't worry about the lofts. We're talking about mid irons, which is 6, 7 and 8 for me. Again, you can get this whole idea and mess around with it when it comes to your unique tendencies and more importantly, your unique speed. But this is what I do. So as you can see, ball position again is now moved, gone from its back position from the tee point of view as it's standard. Now the standard is the mid position. So I've gone from short irons in the back, mid irons in the middle. You can kind of guess what's going to come when it comes to the long irons, but we'll wait to see that one. So we'll talk about length of shaft, and we're talking about the posture differences when it comes to that. But again, the ball position is just slightly well, I would say from my point of view, it'd be middle within reason of my stance. It's just a case I've got about an inch or so away from this left alignment stick, and we'll just hit a normal shot. Slightly toey. Just felt the twist very, very fractionally. Yeah, lost a fraction, few yards. My normal with a 7 irons around about 165, 166, that's 162 because of the strike you saw there, it was just slightly off. But again, 33 yards in the air, 48 degrees descent angle from a middle position. It's going into a green with plenty of stop, no issues with height whatsoever. Now let's move ball position further forward and we'll talk about the differences there. Now people are going to talk about how far should I stand away from the golf ball, because we are talking about different lengths of shaft. Well, the reason why different lengths of shaft is there is trying to get the head travelling faster with a golf club with less loft, because manufacturers understand that the ball needs to travel faster on a lower launch angle to get to that peak height and have a chance of descending at a controllable rate. And the only way obviously to create speed, yes, you're going to get less deflection by taking loft off, but you need to get the head moving faster. Longer shafts do that. Now, as obviously you get to a point where you have longer shafts, there's a difference when it comes to a one length iron. You have one setup, but on standard normal irons, the golf club dictates to you where you should stand. What I mean by that is the fact that a golf club has a lie angle, which it just wants to naturally sit there, not toe up massively and not, you know, kind of get the idea, but it wants to sit there. And then as your normal posture, whatever your posture is, we really want them arms dangling down. Yeah, you can have your own postures, that's absolutely fine. But we want, within reason, your arms, they can move a little bit, but it kind of gives you an idea. Your arms dangle down, and as long as you've got that, you can actually set the golf club to the ground, get your posture, and as long as your hands are dangling down underneath your shoulders, you've got the right distance. So that's that one. Anyway, let's move the golf ball as we have to the front, and then what we're going to do is we're going to give this a hit, and again, left foot is basically an inch off that line again, and we're going to go see how well this one goes. The face was not quite closed. It's fine. Slightly low on the face, but again, we're going to, as soon as we're moving ball position, it will change everything. You can see now, tack angle is now 2.9. Loft is coming up slightly because I'm hitting it later on the arc, which means peak height is now 38 yards in the air, and descent angle is now over 50 degrees. So by moving ball position, I can then change the way the golf ball reacts when it comes to height and stuff like that. Now let's just do the back one as well for fun. Now I'm just going to move the ball back to the last tee, the one closest to the camera, the one furthest back, and again no different. Foot about an inch away from that line, my hands are still in the same position, so I've got more shaft lean now, and then we'll just hit a normal shot. Now you can see straight away what happens there, a lower launch, lower flight, yes. But it also has a tendency to want to draw more, and more on that later. But I would use that kind of idea as now launching at 12 degrees, 12.8, and my attack angle is now 8.6 degrees. 8.6 degrees is much more like what my standard 9 iron and pitching wedge and gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge is. So you can see the differences when it comes to ball position. Right, let's go over to the long irons, and then there's this one thing that I do want to say right at the end of the video, which is like a secondary thing, but I see it as just as important. Anything we're talking about here, this last point that we're going to get to at the end of the video is possibly, if as important, if not more important than what we're doing here. Okay, back now with the 5 iron, the long iron, my longest iron of the set before I go into hybrids. And there's a reason for that. So the reason why I don't have a 4 iron or a 3 iron is because at my speed, I'm not a slow swinger, but even at my speed, I don't produce enough height with a 4 iron to give me a standard shot which will stop on the green at the level that I would like. And so every single time I use a 4 iron, to try and get it to control into a green, I have to hit it as high as I possibly can, really, which then becomes a bit more of a one-dimensional golf club. I don't like it. If I go to a 4 hybrid, it naturally hits it up higher anyway, standard, so I can have my normal standard, high, and then low. I can get my 3-dimensional kind of options back again. So 5 is the longest one I have. It's got 27 degrees, this one. Again, your 5-iron may be different, but again, generally speaking, 5-irons that are slightly stronger in loft also have a bit more help when it comes to launch. This is a blade, so it doesn't have any help at all. Let's go give this a hit. As you can see, ball position now has got to a point of where we are at the forward front tee. Now, standard for a short iron was the back one, standard for a mid iron was the middle one, and then standard for the long iron is the forward one. You kind of get the idea. Now, generally speaking, long irons are hardest to hit consistently, but ball positions for me is normal. Again, hand position is just off this left leg, and we're going to give it a hit. Oh, I thought I was just missed on that one, but I got away with it. Slightly low toe. I felt that one straight away. Yeah, 7mm low, 9mm toe, you can see, not ideal. Tack angle's 2.5 down. Loft is 21 degrees, so that's going 30 yards in the air and 44 degrees descent angle. So even with a not ideal strike, 44 degrees is close enough to the 45 degree number that I would say that's absolutely functional from a less than ideal hit. Remember, these are blades, so yeah, you don't get much help in the way of off-center hits. So there is another one. So this is that's my standard shot. Even with a slightly low strike, poor strike, it still works. But that wouldn't work with a 4-iron, hence why I don't go any more than a 5. Now, I can move the ball position one more ball as such further forward to the imaginary extra farther forward tee location. Now, I'll do the exact same thing again. So my foot position is still going to be exactly the same, an inch or so away from the stick. And I'm worried about this though, because it's going to get very, very, very close to the bottom of my low point. Made a decent job of that. I'll take that every day. There you go, hit every single part of the carry that I'm normally able to do with a decent strike. Yeah, 6mm low, bang on though. And then loft's gone up to 23, but look at my attack angle. Now 0.9 degrees. Worried about that because obviously that's getting very, very close to my bottom of my arc, and I worry that I can actually interact with the ground first before. Now, again, 6mm low, I'm erring on the side of caution. Never hit it high. You never want to be hitting the ground first. But you can see there, moving the ball position, and then no different if I move my ball position back to the middle, not the back one, the middle. If I do the exact same thing again, that will change the flight lower. Now, there is that thing that we're going to talk about, and we'll get to it as soon as we hit this one. But this is the back position, so ball position is now effectively middle, and my left arm is still off my left leg, and we're just going to hit another shot. There's the draw that you're going to get. Slightly toey hit, yes it was. But you can see attack angles now, I just caught it on quad there, 7 degrees, which means that's launching at 9.4 degrees. You can see 5mm low, 10mm toe, so slightly toey hit. But it's going only now 20 yards in the air and 35 degrees descent angle, so it's going in much, much more like a rocket. Now, I would never use that going into a green unless I'm using that for a very, very heavy headwind, where you're going to get the headwind that's going to stop the golf ball anyway. But I've got the functionality of flight. Now, you can see that's overdrawing. Just not quite over, but it's still drawing. And it's about patterns. Right, so we're going to get to the important bit. Now, that shows you the differences between short irons, mid irons, and long irons. I'm going to go now, turn the camera off. I'm going to go hit my 9, 5, and 7, or 9, 7, and 5 a load of times and capture some information that I think what you really need to take from this is not just this information here. This bit that we're going to talk about is equally, if not more important than what we've just discussed. So now the PC, let's go have a look at what I mean by patterns, and possibly one of the most important things to take from all of this is that we've got the difference between golf clubs, between loft, between potential ball positions, and obviously this is all dependent on the individual's own speed. And so as a general rule, the slower you are, the more you have to push the ball slightly further forward to try and encourage a little bit more dynamic loft and then launch impact. And then the faster you are, you can get away with moving the ball back, having a little bit more of an attacking angle down into the golf ball, and we'll flight the golf ball a bit lower, but you're hitting the golf ball harder, and you get control that way. So Everyone is unique. However, when it comes to this, it's patterns. Now, you don't hit the same shot with every single golf club in your bag. And we're just talking about obviously 9, 7 and 5 here, but there are some distinct differences even within me that I have to be aware of, and I'm very keenly aware of as time's gone on. Now, I have worked on certain patterns in the past, especially when it comes to my low shot. As soon as I put the ball back in the stance, that has a tendency to hit the balls obviously a bit more down, a bit more earlier on in the arc, which gives it a bit more path from the inside. My face then reacts to that and get a little bit too close, and if anything, I have a tendency to possibly overdraw it. So I just have to be conscious of that fact when I'm doing it to try and keep that under control. But again, that's learning your patterns. So I've just captured a load of information when it comes to hitting the 9, the 7 and the 5 a load of times to collect some averages, and also from a point of collecting some shots as an average of where they go. Do I aim in the same spot for every single iron? No. And if you have a look at the compare screen that I've popped up, I've got the 9, 7 and the 5 together. You can see that the 9 and the 7, within reason, go basically at target. They're hitting that, within reason, that blue line. Yes, my dispersion circle gets a bit bigger with a 7, a bit bigger than 5 and smaller with a 9 because of loft. Loft is your biggest friend. But you can see there that the 9 kind of draws to target, the 7 goes straight to target, and then the 5 iron has a tendency to wander off, go towards the right a little bit, where I'm pushing the angle of attack a little bit when it comes a bit more shallow. My path is definitely shallower, has a potential to go a little bit to the left sometimes, and then my face reacts to that being a bit more squared, a bit more open, and then you get that slightly fadey bias shot. Now, no different when it comes to my 4 and 3 hybrid. My 4 and 3 hybrid have different patterns. My 4 hybrid draws fractionally because I've got the loft and twisted it up. I added loft, as much loft as I can, which has a tendency to make the face a little bit more draw biased. And then no different to the 3, I've then got a 3 hybrid that wants to fade slightly. So every golf club is different, and you have to make sure you'll know your patterns, because if you're going to want to try and hit target, then you've got a better success at trying to aim in the right spot to take into account your patterns and hit target more often. So, hope you liked the video. If you did, go on, give it a like button down there, little thumbs up. YouTube likes it, so do I. Down there is also a subscribe button. It's free, it's great for the channel. If you can do that, brilliant. And next to that is a bell icon, that's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will notify you next time I upload another video. Hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.